Hey everybody, and welcome to this week's edition of All Things Universal Orlando. Today we're going to be looking at the top 5 highlights from Universal's Epic Universe Reveal press conference. Well, we know a little bit more than we did prior to this press conference about Universal's big announcement. I think we all probably anticipated that what they were going to say is pretty much what they said. We're opening up a new theme park and it's going to be here. And they did that. And that's about all they did. They really made a whole bunch of hoopla about not a lot. So it was hard to pull 5 things from it, 5 highlights. But I was able to put them together and pull 5 things that I thought were worthy. And so I said, let's make a video kind of impromptu. I wasn't going to do this. This is coming kind of out of nowhere. But I'm hoping you enjoy it. So let's get right to it.
Number 5.
Number 5 is location. Probably this is no big surprise. I think everybody who's been following this lead or this story understood where this was going to be. Maybe you didn't. And if you're one of those people, it's right here on the corner of Kirkman and Universal Boulevard, right where we anticipated it's going to be, right where they've been clearing out all this land. This is a 750-acre spot that Universal used to own, sold, bought again, and now they're clearing it, getting ready to build their new theme park. And that's a pretty cool thing. I mean, that is the guts of this announcement. Universal said, we're building a new theme park and we're putting it here. Right there off the corner of Kirkman Road and Universal Boulevard. Like I said, they have the 750 acres. It's a huge plot of land and it's pretty exciting. And what this is actually going to do is double, almost virtually double Universal's property area that they've decided, hey, let's put theme parks here. That's a good thing for all of us. That means more people are going to be coming to Orlando. More people are going to be coming to the parks. More people are going to be spending their money there. There's really no downside to this other than maybe our ticket prices go up a bit, but would have happened anyways with inflation. But that's what they've told us, is that this is where it's going to go. Now, if you're not familiar with that, I've got some information I'm going to put on the screen, and I've superimposed a couple of images together to give you an idea of where it's going to be. So location is the 5th highlight we can pull away from that press conference.
Number 4.
Number 4, we now have a name, Universal's Epic Universe. Forever we thought this was going to be Fantastic Worlds, and I liked that. I don't know that I like it any better than Epic Universe. I don't know that it really matters. What's in a name when it comes to a theme park? I mean, if you really think about it, Disney World is a guy's name with world tagged to the end of it. So if you really think it's a silly name or it's a great name, why didn't they call it something like Disney or the Magic Kingdom or Epcot or anything? Is Islands of Adventure a great name? There's really nothing spectacular about it. In fact, most of us call it IOA anyway. So Epic Universe isn't bad or good, and regardless of what it is, it doesn't much matter. Those of us who like Universal are going to go to this park, even if they named it Mike's Park. It really doesn't matter the name of the park, is the point I'm trying to make. And so they've called it Epic Universe. And if I'm honest, I really think the insignia is pretty cool. It's like a blending of the Islands of Adventure insignia and the Universal Studios one all kind of comes together in this mishmash, and here we have Epic Universe. So that's the 4th thing that we can take away from that press conference. The name, Universal's Epic Universe.
Number 3.
The 3rd thing we can take away from this is that the city of Orlando and Orange County are going to be getting 14,000 plus jobs due to Universal's investment in this plot of land. That's a great thing. That's a great thing for any city. Anytime somebody brings 14,000 jobs to a community, good things have a tendency to happen. So 14,000 jobs coming to Orange County means a lot of good things. It means more tourists are going to be there. It means more people may have to move there to facilitate the job experience. But these are all good things. Now, the downside is that Orlando might be considered a crowded city to the people who live there. For the people who don't live there, they don't really care. They're just coming to visit. Frankly, Universal's probably thinking more along the lines of that. They really want to maximize everything they have there in this property. And 14,000 jobs is a good thing to bring to any community, so we should be thankful for that. The second portion of this announcement is that Universal also announced that the minimum fee that they're going to pay the team members there is $15 an hour. Now, it really doesn't matter what your stance on minimum wage is. The point of this is that Universal believes that the lowest tier element of team member in their theme parks merits a $15 an hour salary. And regardless of what you think about that, doesn't matter. They think it's worth it. And if they're the ones shelling out the money for it, that's how it goes. And so I think it's a reasonable rate. I think it's probably a harder job than you might think it is. I've never been a team member. Don't anticipate ever being a team member. But you never know. And $15 an hour is what Universal thinks the job is worth. Good for them. But I think it goes beyond that. I think we have to start thinking of how will that negatively impact people like you and me, or annual pass holders, or people who just want to come for a day. Regardless, it might mean that your ticket price is going to go up. Annual passes are going to go up. But guess what? They're going to go up anyway. Inflation creates that regardless of the economy. That being said, a whole new theme park and a brand new hotel that just opened up and plans for more, all of these things equal a relative rate of inflation. So your ticket price may go up, but I'm willing to pay a little bit more knowing I've got an entirely new theme park coming.
Number 2.
Number 2. There's not much to talk about here, but there's a lot to show you. Universal released concept art. Some of us had seen leaks and things on YouTube or on Google, but they gave us some official stuff. And when you break it down and zoom in some sections like I'm going to do for you, you're going to see some real good options and things that we have anticipated being true look like they might be true. So they are more than just rumors maybe at this point, but they are rumors with an element of substantiation. And that's a good thing. We can still present our suppositions as long as we want and guess what things might be and where they might go. Really doesn't matter. Universal's revealed the concept art and it's pretty cool. And we're going to talk about some of those things now.
One of the things I want to talk about is Nintendo World. Forever we were told it was going to be replacing Woody Woodpecker Kids Zone in Universal Studios. But what is clear when we look at this and the fact that we have seen no progress there whatsoever is that it's more likely it's going to go into this area. So I want you to look at this concept drawing here that we were just shown officially. There's a couple of images there that I've placed in from Nintendo World that other artists have mocked up. Now I put these pictures in with this other one so you can see something. Look at this little tiki hut looking thing here, and it looks very similar to this in the artist rendering. And then up here, this looks like what's an obvious Donkey Kong ride entrance. Down here you see this plane, a little white section there that may or may not be the plane. So I'm thinking that might be part of Mario World. Look at this other drawing over here, and you see that symbol right there, those red and orange circles. It looks very much like that picture on the artist rendering as well. And then back here, what might be a Mario Kart racing game, we really don't know. But you want to take it's hard to say what that really is when we're looking at an artist rendering, but it looks very similar to that right there, which leads me to believe that this area here is going to be Nintendo Universe or Nintendo World. Who knows what they're going to call it, but that's what that is looking like to me. Switching over to this next section right here, I have a feeling that, that's clearly an amphitheater, and I'm wondering if, what would they show there? And when you look at that section there, it all looks kind of, dark and eerie and somewhat, suspicious. When you zoom in a little bit here, you look at this tower that I'm going to circle right here, and I'm not sure what that is, but it's certainly eerie looking, and that whole section says darkness, and that makes me think that this is going to be the long-awaited and classic Universal monsters. This is a section I'm really looking forward to. I grew up with these guys, watching creature features and things like that. This was always something that was interesting to me. Now, come over here to the right side, this section over here, and this is kind of an interesting one. When you look at this section right here, and I'll try to zoom in for you, it looks like that could be New York City or a replica of New York City. And the only thing I can think of that might be representing is New York. I don't think that that's anything else. So what could New York be? Well, probably New York is going to be, you guessed it, the additional Harry Potter section of this park, Fantastic Beasts. And it just makes sense that they would add that to this park, considering how popular Harry Potter has been, and is continuing to be. Coming down here, I'm not positive what this is going to be here. I think everything kind of points to how to train your dragons. We've been told there's going to be a DreamWorks section here, and this looks like it could be that. You see what looks like a dueling coaster option. It's really hard to gauge what this section might be, but it's the only thing left that we have to go on. Up here, you're seeing what is an obvious hotel, and I think it's pretty cool that it's right there in the midst of the park. It's not aside from the park, it's not outside of the area of the park, it's within the park. And I think that's something that Universal hasn't really done before. Hard Rock is probably the closest thing to anything we have. Now, looking at this map, and that's the section where we see that Epic Universe is going to be taking place. All of this artist rendering with you, when you lined it up with the surrounding highways, looks like it would take place in this section. But over here, you have nothing. It's wide open. Maybe it's going to be reserved for parking, or, you know, I suppose there is the potentiality that this is going to be maybe a different park in the future. Who really knows? We just don't know. But they've doubled the size of the property. They have this much more land available to them now, and their options are absolutely limitless. And what we do know is that Universal's been doing a great job. Now, what I want you to see here is how if you go in through the entrance and go, say, left to what we think is Nintendo World, there's no way to get over to Classic Monsters. You have to go out of that world and then into Classic Monsters that way. And then you would have to go around into what we think is Fantastic Beasts, the same for How to Train Your Dragon, and then to the exit if you did a full loop. What I'm getting at is there's no way to get from one area to the other without going through the hub. And I think the reason for this is pretty obvious. It gives them an amazing opportunity for complete, total immersion. And that certainly is the way that theme parks are going these days. So that's what I think. That's what I'm taking from these artists' rendering, and I hope you're enjoying that as well.
Well, as always, before we get to the number one thing, I want to recap the top 5. Number 5 is location. We now know where Epic Universe is going to be located, although we pretty much knew already. Number 4 is the name. It's going to be called Epic Universe and not Fantastic Worlds. And guys, it really doesn't matter what this thing is called. It's going to be good. Think about everything that Universal has done with their theme parks. Take away Fast and Furious Supercharged and you've got a slew of success. And when you think of the expansion of theme parks by changing the backside of Universal Studios into Diagon Alley and revamping the Lost Continent and turning that into the Wizarding World of Harry Potter, those things are totally immersive and great. And there's no reason to think that Universal isn't going to do the same thing here. Number 3, jobs. Universal's bettering the city of Orlando. They're bringing jobs into the economy, they're bringing money into the city, into the county, and into the state. This is a win-win for everybody involved. Number 2 is the concept art. We now have a decent idea of what it's going to be like. We understand that concept art is ideally vague, but we still have a pretty good understanding of where things might be going. So here it is.
Number 1.
The biggest boom for me, the biggest takeaway from this entire press conference was when CEO of Universal Arts and Resorts Tom Williams said this.
I can guarantee you it's going to be that big. And the last I heard, the universe is a little bit bigger than a world. So
I don't know if it's bigger, but you guys already know I like it a lot better. Those are the top 5 things that we can take away from Universal Orlando's Epic Universe Reveal press conference. Don't forget to like and subscribe, hit the bell notification so you can be made aware every time we have a new video. Like this, share it, comment, give me feedback, let me know some other top 5 things that you'd like to see. And remember, go bless somebody else today. You'll be glad you did.